Okay, ready? Okay, guys, we'll call this meeting to order, please. If you'll please join us for the pledge and the prayer.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Mr. Powell, would you please lead us in prayer tonight?
Yes, ma'am. Father God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for all the things that you've blessed us with. Father, we'd ask a special prayer on those who have less than we have. Father, we hope that you will help us as we conduct the business of the city. We hope that we make the right decisions. We hope that you're always with us and guide us in this process. Thank you, God, for everything that you do. Thank you for your son who died for our sins. We pray this through his name. Amen.
Amen. And we do have a statement by Fiddleton, Ms. Ingledow. Mine is. Mine is too, but now here we are. Maybe it was me.
Good evening. Mayor and council, wow, that's hot.
Yeah.
Sorry. Mayor and council, I stand here before you asking you the question as to why you are raising our taxes. Just why? Have you reduced any expenses in the budget? I have looked it over and haven't seen any. Instead of tightening your belt and cutting some costs, you are asking us, the taxpayers, to tighten our belts even more. As if the storm was not enough with the deductibles and depreciation, let alone the economy is in the toilet. So instead of you, city council, tightening your belt, you're saying to us that we need to shut up and tighten ours some more. It doesn't matter that the oil field is laying off or that we have families going without meals. In addition to the real estate market is at a complete standstill. Everyone shut up and pay your taxes. It cracks me up that council thinks we're all stupid and will just bow down. Let me tell you, we realize that our appraised values went up, which is an increase in our taxes already. Then we have folks like the city raising our taxes to the highest point they can without an election. Do you think this is smart? Is this the way we do it? Let's see how high we can get the taxes with the least amount of resistance. We are on to every single one of you. It is sad, and we elect every one of you to look out for our best interests and not yours. We need people who are willing to protect the taxpayers. None of you are doing that. Let's quickly talk about the police chief and fire chief positions that are available. We have a candidate that was raised here in Levelland, rose through the ranks of our police department, and is loved by the community. The last I heard, it came down to 4 finalists and you rejected them all and told the firm you paid over $20,000 to start all over. Why? Why would you bypass a person that is qualified, raised here, loved by the community, and is young and can lead our department into the future? We should have never hired a firm to hire a police chief. So let's move on and talk about the fire chief. Again, here we have a person that was raised here in Levelland and dedicated 40 years to the citizens of Levelland. I have heard all the rumors and stuff y'all use for your baseless accusations. This man dedicated his life to this city, not only as a fire chief, but also as the fire marshal. He's a law enforcement officer and a paramedic. He rose through the ranks, continued his education, and became a better leader for the city, only to be crapped on after 40 years. Seems to me if the firemen that were under his direction had an issue with him, then he has a right to face his accusers. He should have a right to stand up for himself and to answer the allegations. Did you allow that? You gave him the option to retire or be terminated. What a blow after 40 years. None of the taxpaying citizens of Levelland knew any of this was going on. Why? Oh, is it that you wanted to keep it quiet so that we could not be involved or speak our minds regarding this decision?
Thank you, Ms. Ingledow, for speaking. We're out of time now. In the 3 minutes.
It's been 3 minutes?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
thank you.
Now we'll move on to our first item on the agenda to consider and take necessary action to approve the minutes of the August 19th, 2024 regular meeting and the August 26th, 2024 special meeting.
Make a motion to accept the minutes of last meeting.
A second. Motion and a second, all in favor?
Uh-huh.
Motion carries. Second item on the agenda is to hold a public hearing on the proposed tax rate for the fiscal year 2024-2025. What time are we opening this? We will open that right now at 6:10, what my clock says.
Mayor and members of the council, tonight you have the public hearing on the proposed tax rate. That is before you. Final vote on this will come next Monday, September 16th, when we also will adopt the budget that this tax rate is built on. The current tax rate for the city of Levelland is 0.542021 per $100 valuation. If you'll recall, last month, we approved a maximum tax rate going into this budget of 0.55. Staff is recommending, and we have built the budget on this proposed rate of 0.53500 per $100 valuation. Of that 0.535, 0.468729 funds our general fund, 0.03 funds the cemetery fund, and 0.036271 funds our debt service that we have before the city. Yes, our appraised values went up this year, approximately 5.66%. We also have a sales tax to reduce property taxes, which this year we budgeted at approximately $300,000. 1 penny in our tax rate is approximately $66,000. The statement that you see in the budget says this budget will raise more revenue from property tax than last year's budget by $124,576, which is 3.57% increase from last year's budget. The property tax revenue to be raised from new property, this is new additions to roll, will be approximately $36,339. It is the total property taxes that will be generated from our property taxes about $3.7 million.
Okay, with that, it's 6:12. We can close the public hearing, correct? Okay, we'll open it.
Ask for any comments you have.
We'll open that at 6:13, and if anyone would like to speak regarding the public hearing, they sure can this time. We'll wait a few minutes just to make sure. We'll close that now at 6:14 p.m. With that, we will consider and take necessary action to approve ordinance number 1082, setting the 2024-2025 tax rate by setting the maintenance and operation component of the 2024-2025 tax rate, general fund and cemetery fund, and the debt component of the 2024-2025 tax rate, interest and redemption fund.
Mayor, I move that the ordinance number 1082 be adopted and approved by the council, and that the property tax rate be increased by the adoption of a tax rate of 0.53500 cents, which is effectively a 2.9% interest increase in the tax rate, with components of the tax rate being as follows: maintenance and operation, general fund, 0.468729 cents, cemetery fund, 0.03, debt interest Redemption Fund 0.036271.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? With that and opposed, motion carries. Next item on the agenda will be to hold a public hearing.
Read the ordinance.
Okay, thank you, Andrea.
We've got to read the ordinance. We're supposed to vote after the ordinance.
We will vote again then. Later, are you gonna read that? Okay.
Oh. he says-
Mayor, the ordinance you have before you, ordinance number 1082. An ordinance providing for the levying of taxes for the use and support of the municipal government of the city of Levelland for fiscal year 2024-2025, providing for the interest and redemption fund for the year 2024-2025, appropriating said levy for the specific purpose, providing said levy for the specific purpose, providing for the time and manner of paying the ad valorem taxes levied, providing for publication by caption only, and providing for an effective date. Whereas the city council finds that conducting a budget work sessions open to the public and publication of the proposed tax rate in the local news media and the city's website have collectively provided adequate and legal notice so that this ordinance may be adopted in accordance with state law and thereby become effective as set forth in the relevant state statutes. Now therefore, be it ordained by the city of Levelland, Texas, Section 1, that there is hereby levied and there shall be collected for use and support of municipal government of the city of Levelland for fiscal year 2024-2025, and to provide an interest and redemption fund for the fiscal year 2024 and 2025 upon all property located within the corporate limits of the city as of January 1, 2024, subject to taxation for the year 2024, a tax of 0.53500 on each $100 valuation of property. Said tax is levied and appropriate to the specific purposes herein set forth for the maintenance and support of the general fund, 0.468729 on each $100 valuation of the property for the year 2024, for the upkeep and maintenance of the Levelland Cemetery, 0.03 on each $100 valuation of property for the year 2024, for the interest and redemption fund, 0.036271 on each $100 valuation of property for the year 2024. This tax rate will raise more taxes for the maintenance and operations than last year's tax rate. The tax rate will effectively be raised by 2.995% and will raise taxes for maintenance and operations on a $100,000 home by approximately $15.76. Section 2, all monies collected as delinquent taxes after July 1, 2025 for the tax year 2024 for the interest and redemption fund, general fund, and cemetery fund will be deposited in their funds as collected. Section 3, all monies collected under this ordinance for specific items named shall be and the same are hereby appropriated and set apart for the specific purposes indicated in each item. And the finance director of the city of Levelland shall keep these accounts so as to readily show the amount collected, the amounts expended, and the amounts collected, and the amount on hand in each item at all times. Section 4, all taxes shall be payable at the office of the Hockley County Tax Assessor Collector in the city of Levelland, Texas, and the period for payment of taxes without penalty or interest shall be October 1, 2024 through January 31, 2025. This ordinance, Section 5, this ordinance shall be effective upon its final passage and enforceable 10 days after its publication. Section 6, this ordinance may be published by caption only pursuant to VTCA Local Government Code 52.013 and Article 5, Section 23 of the Levelland City Charter. There's your ordinance, Mayor.
Thank you. We've had a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed? Motion carries. Ordinance number 1082 carries. Next item on the agenda will be to hold a public hearing regarding a replat of property at 301 College Avenue. Legal description R.W. Shannon, Levelland, Block 17, and the north 149.75. So, need a time, Andrea? We're gonna,
Or after his
Okay.
description.
Mayor and members of the council, this replat is located at 301 College Avenue. Just, it's in the agenda packet. Wendy's is looking at building a restaurant here. This plat went before the Planning and Zoning Commission last month, and the P and Z is recommending the replat for approval. Copy of the plat's been placed before you. There is the purpose of this replat. There was a utility easement that wasn't dedicated. This easement is now in place with the replat that allows the city to work on these utilities, but it also allows them to build the parking lot that will cross over it. But the plat states that they are responsible for the repair of that parking lot. So staff would recommend approval of this replat.
this public hearing at 6:21 PM. Anyone would like to speak? Give that a minute or two. I'll show at 6:22. We'll close that public hearing at 6:22 PM. The next item on the agenda is item number 5. We will consider and take necessary action on a replat request for 301 College Avenue, legal description R.W. Shannon, Levelland, block 17, in the north 149.75.
I move that we approve the replat of block 17 of the R.W. Shannon subdivision located at 301 College Avenue, Levelland, Texas.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
With that, none opposed, motion carries. Item number 6 is to hold a public hearing regarding the substandard structure located at, we have several, I'll list them all. 1821 Houston Street, legal description 9th, Levelland, block 212, lot 16 and 17, mobile home. 1802 9th Street, legal description the Trammell 1, Levelland, block 2, lot 5. Third property, 528 West Jefferson Street, legal description North Side, Levelland, block 1, lot 14. Fourth property, 305 Avenue F, legal description original town, Levelland, block 6, lot 3. Eli?
Hello, my council, mayor, got some substandard structures that I want to bring before you. Just go ahead and read this as always. Building, structure, dwelling is substandard if a structure is dilapidated, unfit for human habitation, and a hazard to public health, safety, and welfare, or is unoccupied and unsecure from unauthorized entry, and can be entered or used by uninvited people, vagrants, or children. Or even if secure, the building is a danger to the public or the means of securing the building are inadequate. In my initial inspection of the following properties, the following buildings or dwellings did not meet the minimum standards that set forth by the International Property Maintenance Code and International Building Code, and contain conditions and defects that render said structures uninhabitable and unfit for human occupancy. All owners and persons of interest were notified of the violations in accordance with Article 3.710 of the City Code of Ordinances, and the requirement to abate said violations within 30 days of the date of said notices, and said notices were placed on the substandard structures. In my follow-up inspections of said properties, the substandard buildings or dwellings were not brought into compliance, and all owners and persons of interest were notified in accordance with Article 3.710 of the City Code of Ordinances with a minimum 30-day notice of a public hearing to be held before the Housing Standards Commission, and said notices were placed on the substandard structures. Notice of public hearing before the Housing Standards Commission was filed in the Hockley County Real Property Records. And on July 23rd, 2024, a public hearing was held before the Housing Standards Commission. And it was their recommendation that the following substandard properties be demolished. And all owners and persons of interest were notified in accordance with Article 3.710 of the City Code of Ordinances with a minimum 30-day notice of a public hearing to be held before the city council, and said notices were placed on the said substandard structures. The following buildings and dwellings contain all or some of the following conditions or defects, but are not limited to: buildings and dwellings are abandoned, dilapidated, deteriorating, damaged, have an inadequate light, air, ventilation, mechanical, plumbing, electrical, and sanitation facilities. Exterior walls and structural members lean or buckle. Structures have improperly distributed loads upon floors and roofs and have insufficient strength to be reasonably safe. Structures have insufficient protection from deterioration and the action of the weather elements, including roofs, exterior walls, sidings, doors, windows, and structures have parts that are so attached that they may fall and injure members of the public or property. And some of the structures are insecure from unauthorized entry. We begin with the first subject property is 1821 Houston. The title report shows owner to be Yolanda Martinez. Hockley County taxes show to be in the name of Yolanda Martinez. And Hockley County Appraisal District records show to be in the name of Yolanda Martinez. And this is a mobile home that had burned, I believe it was last year. We ended up having to secure it. And you can see a couple of pictures where, of course, I didn't go completely inside because of the danger of the structure, so. That's just where I could reach in from the front door. And that's it on that one.
Any contact from the homeowner?
Yes, that one was kind of interesting because when we had the meeting before the Housing Standards Commission, the owner on record, she came, but she explained to us that she had sold it to some other people, but that never got deeded over, so they never followed through with the paperwork. So legally, it still belongs to Yolanda Martinez, even though they've done whatever paperwork between her and the next person that supposedly bought the property. But again, it never got deeded over to the next person, so. And then I just recently heard, actually today, or no, was it last week? The abstract office contacted me saying that the person who was buying it from Yolanda Martinez is now trying to sell it off to somebody else. So, but either way, Yolanda Martinez knows, she knew about the meeting. I was actually speaking with the gentleman that was living there when the mobile home burned, so he's aware of, the process that's going on right now, so. Next one, 1802 9th Street. Get to it here. Okay, title report shows owners to be a David and Criselda Rodriguez. Hockley County taxes show to be in the names of David and Criselda Rodriguez, and Hockley County Appraisal District records show to be in the names of David and Criselda Rodriguez. And this is one also that we had to get boarded up because we were getting complaints of vagrants getting into the structure. That's the back of the property. And this is one that we haven't had any contact from the owners, so. Who is? Oh, okay, I didn't know you were gonna come. Okay, So I don't know if you have any questions for me on that before. I think there's a gentleman that's actually,
No contact with the owner prior?
no, no, ma'am.
So you can't do anything with it right now? Just board it up or whatever?
No, I mean, we can still move forward. It's just like, the mails come back, unclaimed. That's why we put the notices on the structure. So it's, I mean, it can, y'all can still give the order for it to be demolished. That's completely up to y'all. So y'all feel that needs to happen.
This is the owner? Is that
No,
correct?
no, actually, he's another person that's interested in the property, so he came and let me know that he was interested in it, so I told him if he wanted to come, he can speak during the public hearing, so. So do we want to go ahead and give him that time now? Okay.
Let's do that now.
We need to go ahead and then we don't have time for our public hearing to start. So can you go ahead and open the public?
Absolutely. We'll open the public hearing at 6:30. Go ahead, sir. Hi. If you'd please give us your name. your
My name is Modesto Chavez, and I used to live at that house. Long time ago, I guess they're using it like an abandoned house. And I found out, I went to the appraisal and I went and talked to the people who owned it. And they told me David owned it, so I went and talked to David and everything myself personally. And I had told him, hey, what are you doing with that house? Like, you know what? I ended up selling it. Sell it cheap, somebody cheap or whatever, but it needs a lot of work. Like, well, that's fine. I mean, I can get the work done. I know it needs a lot of work. It needs new, like, the pole from the outside was all missing, had a whole bunch of construction that had to be done. Like, okay, so how much did you sell it to me for? Like, you know what, I'll make you a deal. You fix it up and everything, you can stay there for free, and then we'll talk about buying rent to own for a while, after a while. So I got a certified electrician, which, they know who my certified electrician is. His name's, Raw. What's his name? But, anyways, he's certified. He went, and put the pole and everything. We were living there at least, I say good 3 to 5 years, but I kept being in contact with the owner saying, hey, how much you gonna charge me for rent? How much you gonna charge me for rent to own? It's like, well, don't worry about it, just keep staying there, keep staying there. So we stayed in contact for a while. Then all of a sudden, out of the blues, some people came to my house and they said, hey, we're giving you 30-day notice that you got vacate the premises because David had sold it. I'm like, okay, I mean, he never told me nothing about it. So we moved out and we got another house and stuff like that. But when I seen it boarded up, I came talk to Eli and told me, hey, I'm interested in buying that house, and I know it needs work done to it and everything. I do all the electrical, the inside electrical. I'm not certified to do the outside, but I did the inside, plumbing, construction, you name it, I can do it, that's what I do. So I'm just interested in seeing what I gotta do to take over that house,
But you don't own it,
No, ma'am,
right?
I don't own it. And I really don't want it to get demolished, if there's a way I can save it. If I gotta pay taxes on it or whatever I gotta pay, if y'all can work with me, I'll do whatever I can to get that house back, Then me and my wife live there with our kids. So, it's a broken down house, but to us, we're making it home. And then for have somebody go there and say, hey, y'all gotta move out, they just sold the house. And as far as I know, they never sold it because it's under his name.
Right. Have you talked to the owner anymore? Have you had
I
any
tried calling him.
communication?
I tried calling him and I've gone to his house, he don't answer. I tried calling him 2 or 3 times. I was inside the office with Eli. And it went straight to voicemail. I gave Eli his phone number. And he called him several times and it went straight to voicemail. And he told me that all the mail that they sent him is been coming back. So I would like to purchase that house. If y'all can work with me or whatever,
We
happy.
would like for you to, sir, but you don't own it right now. And I would hate for you to go inside and do any work to a
Mhm.
home that you don't own and is it for sure going to be yours?
Yeah.
Can't sell it to you.
Right.
It's not
we can't
ours.
see-
Okay, and the thing is, I just don't want it to get demolished.
Do
You know what I mean? If we can save it from being demolished,
Do you think it's structurally, you can salvage it?
Yes, sir.
The integrity there? Eli, would you comment on?
I mean, it can probably be fixed. I mean, as far as money wise, I mean, in my opinion, I think it's gonna cost too much, but I mean, that's just my opinion. But structurally, I think it could be fixed if they're willing to put in the money, but again, you know, if y'all gave the order to the owners, right, y'all could give the order to the owners to repair the structure and maybe give them time to work that out between them to buy it. And I get, you know, I think we've had one where they, you know, the order was given, they need to repair the structure, and if it doesn't get repaired within a certain amount of time, then within that same order, it can go to a demolishment as well. So, that was an option that,
Would it, Slater, would it be better if we tabled this one and let them get that worked out, give them maybe 30 days to get that worked out? And if not, that way it's cleaner for us than trying to.
I think,
if this,
you know, you're gonna have to have 30 days. If you're gonna purchase, you're gonna have to have 30 days to purchase it.
Right,
Okay.
it'd be best if we tabled it and let them get that part worked out.
I think so.
I mean, the only harm in that's is 30 more days,
Yeah.
but, it took a lot more than 30 days to get to that point
Right.
with the
If
house.
we can salvage one of these structures and it's salvageable, I'd a whole lot rather somebody be able to live in that structure and it be salvaged than have a hole in.
And
Yeah,
as our,
exactly.
as our city representative was talking about, I mean, I think the way to structure it, if they can get to that, point, and that's the
Right.
starting point, is very defined, deadlines, which is, we have to be here by this date, here by this date, and here by this date, and if we're not, this proceeds.
So would it be better to have those in so that he understands what those dates are? Instead of buying it and then all of a sudden, well, I need more time than that.
I think if they can get it done, if they can get some kind of transfer or sale done, they can work with our guys, to kind of sketch those out. They would come back to this group for approval.
Don't he have to have permission to work on that house?
No, that's what I'm saying. They've got to.
Gotta own it.
They've got to work out ownership.
But you could be putting money in there and he look, it's going good, he can tell you can get out of here.
Okay, but how about if, you know, like, I can try and call him right now. I can call him 30 minutes, I can call him tomorrow, or the next day, or whatever, and he will not answer. I mean, it goes straight to voicemail. And I mean, y'all get mail forwarded back.
Right. Bottom line, Mr. Chavez, if he won't sell the property to you, then it is an uninhabitable structure and it most likely will be demolished.
Okay, so,
So are we saying you have 30 days to make the purchase?
30 days to try to figure out what we're gonna do.
Our next council meeting, well, next week is, our next one, but our October council meeting is the 21st. So if y'all just defer this until October 20th, that gives him more than 30, but it gives him time to hopefully get hold of the person and get it resolved. And I would just recommend we.
And just so you understand, I mean, I think you're hearing a group that is inclined to help you. But before they can do that, you've got to have an agreement to get the house, because they can't make a deal about somebody else's house. They have to either make it with him or you get the house and they make it with you. But what I'm hearing is some willingness to be as flexible as possible. Okay?
okay,
Just stay in touch. So these guys with the city
that's right.
know what's going on, and we'll see, but put on your calendar,
October 21st.
October 21st.
Okay, I come back over here.
We'll have to make a decision on October 21st.
Yes, sir.
But if you've got progress before that,
Give Eli.
talk to
Yes.
him.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
all right, well, thank you. I
Thank you,
sure
Mr.
do
Chavez,
appreciate the
for
time.
coming.
No, sorry about being, no, I was coming from Lubbock, car broke down. I'm still stranded, so
Well, we're glad that you made it. Please let us know in the future, okay?
I sure will. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
appreciate that. Okay. Next subject property is 528 West Jefferson. Title report shows owner to be a Gary Lyon. Hockley County taxes show to be in the name of Gary Lyon. And Hockley County appraisal district records show to be in the name of Gary Lyon. So this mobile home, of course, with the storm that came, it pretty much took off the roof. wasn't able to get in the actual structure, but and this one, I was in contact with Gary Lyon. In fact, he called me just earlier. Yeah, because I haven't met you. Yeah, I thought it was you. So, and I had talked to him previously about it. So, but I'll give him the time to go ahead and speak since he's here. So.
Mr. Lyon, would you like to speak?
Yes, I'm Gary Lyon. The tornado, hit that and took the roof off, but, my plan is to get it, torn down. I was talking to Eli today about getting 3 roll-offs and getting it, removed from there. So I just needed some more time with the tornado, and then I had a surgery on my lip and I hadn't had a time to do it.
Mr. Lyon, how much time do you think you would need?
I would say probably 60, 90 days.
Find a 60, I don't know.
90, no.
You think you could do that in 60 days?
Yes.
A full demo of the property? Do you have a plan after you demo the property?
Yeah, I got the lot sold if I get the trailer off of it. She don't want it with the trailer on there, but
Okay, thank you so much for coming.
That's-
Anything else you'd like to say?
no, that's it.
Great,
Thank y'all.
you.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
And the last property is 305 Avenue F. Title report shows owner to be Isabel M. Hinojosa. Hockley County taxes show to be in the name of Isabel Hinojosa. The Hockley County Appraisal District records show to be in the name of Isabel Hinojosa. And this is one we had to get boarded up as well due to complaints of vagrants getting into the structure. And she's been in contact with me the last week. And she did ask me on her behalf, she is asking for the maximum amount. She does want to get it demolished. But she is asking for the maximum amount of time.
So she's been in contact with you.
Just recently, like this entire process, it wasn't just till last week, like she actually called me, so.
And her intent is to demo the property
Yes.
herself?
Yes,
Demo.
yes, she does want to demolish it. And so she couldn't make it to the meeting, so she is asking for the maximum amount of time, so
What is the maximum amount?
Maximum is 90.
90 days, correct?
Yes, 30, 60, 90.
And you said she's gonna do it herself, right?
Yes, sir. That's what she said, so.
She's been in, but she just barely got in contact.
Yeah, so,
She's known for a long time, so it's likely.
yes, yes.
Any more time.
So all the mails come back unclaimed, and when I talked to her, the only reason why she called me is because she came over, she lives in Lubbock. She came over because she's supposedly getting ready to retire, and she thought she was gonna wanna fix the house and live in it. Apparently she hasn't seen it in a long time, because this has actually been a problem property. We've had to mow it every year. So when I talked to her, she's like, well, I never got any letters. And I was like, well, yeah, your letters have come back unclaimed. She's like, well, every time I got out of work, it was always too late. So I never went to go pick up my mail. So, but since she saw that, that we had it on the schedule for today, she immediately called me. So, yes, sir.
Been trying to make it a 60-day. Game for everybody else.
So what'd you say about?
Almost being game for a 60-day, because she had a ton of time up until this point, but I'm game for what everybody wants to do.
So one of the things is y'all schedule some of these, again, and it's not an indictment of anybody that's here, but 25 years of doing these in lots of cities is, unfortunately, you give that time period and then you're right there at the end. If y'all were inclined on any of these to give, say, 60 days, I might recommend that you allow us to do an agreement with them that if it's not done within 60 days, that the process picks up here today without additional notices and warnings and starting over the process. That gives everybody some incentive, and it gives y'all more coverage and protection to get these dangerous buildings resolved, if they don't. That's just an idea that's been successful in the past.
So in that order, it would be give them 60 days. If they don't do it in 60 days, then we will begin the
We'll put it on the,
demo list.
November, yeah, and go from there. And everybody signs off on that. It's done by agreement as opposed to order. Getting a side eye over there.
Yeah, kind of explain that, because that's kind of new to me too.
It's so that if it gets done, everybody wins,
Right.
right? I mean, the city wins, the homeowner wins that wants to do something. If they don't do it, we have an agreement that would allow us to just move forward at that point as a.
Having to resend out all the notices and all. We don't go back to all
Right.
the motions that.
It
It's
just,
time.
it'd be
Yeah.
done by
With
agreement.
money.
So when it comes time for motion on this, counselor, can you help them with, oh,
Yes, I will.
I was going, yes.
Absolutely, yeah. I'll start sketching that out. If there's interest in that, it's just.
I think it's a great idea. Like I said, if it'll save having to mail all that stuff out again and.
Yeah, because I mean, that, I guess, because wouldn't the order do that? I mean, because, I just want to make sure I understand that, because, I mean, that's still gonna keep us from having to come back, right? If they give the order, you do it within 60 days, if they don't, or 90 days, whatever they decide to give. And if they don't get it done within that time, then we step in and we can have it demolished.
You haven't brought it back to council after that point, have we?
No.
Okay.
I just want to make sure I understand.
So that's how y'all done in the past.
Correct.
Right. I think we're saying the same thing, so.
We're good.
Okay, I just want to make sure, because I was getting a little confused, so.
Need to close the public hearing now? Is that correct? Any other comments on these properties?
No.
We close the public hearing at 6:46 p.m. Next item on the agenda is to consider and take necessary action and issue any necessary order to abate, repair, secure, or demolish regarding substandard structures located at 1821 Houston Street, legal description 9th, Levelland, block 212, lot 16 and 17, mobile home. 1802 9th Street, legal description Trammell 1, Levelland, block 2, lot 5. 528 West Jefferson Street, legal description Northside Levelland, block 1, lot 14. 305 Avenue F, legal description original town Levelland, block 6. Block 5. Or block 3.
So what we talked about was that first one, is it's ready for demo because there's nothing there.
1821 Houston.
The second one, tabling that until October 21st. And then on 528 Jefferson and 305 F, having 60 days, and then if not, moving.
That's
Can we do that
what
in
my
one
notes
motion, or
say.
does that all need to be each separate?
4 motions or 1?
One's good.
No,
Separate,
4 separate motions, so it's very clear.
okay. And I may foul this up, so clean it up. I move that we issue, demolition orders on 821 Houston Street, 1821 Houston Street, legal description 9th, block 212, lot 16, and lot 17, the mobile home. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
With that, none opposed, motion carries.
On 1802 9th Street, legal description Trammell 1, block 2, lot 5. We table that until our October 21st meeting.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed. With that, motion carries.
I move that we issue orders for, I need to say that I'm
Direct staff to prepare an agreement.
direct staff to prepare an agreement with 528 West Jefferson or the owners thereof of Jefferson Street, legal description, actually it's lot 14, block 1, north side addition, giving them 60 days to remedy that, and if not, then the demolition orders will be carried out.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed, motion carries.
I move that we direct staff to go into an agreement or create an agreement with the owners of 305 West Avenue F, legal description, lot 3, block 6 of Old Town Levelland,
giving them 60 days to remedy that situation. If not, then demolition will be commenced.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Was that Councilman Powell? Second?
Yes.
Yes.
Ma'am. None opposed, motion carries. Next item on the agenda, item number 8, is to consider and take necessary action to approve ordinance number 1081 regarding building inspection fees on a second reading.
Mayor and members of council, if you recall, this item came before you at the last meeting. This is the second reading of this ordinance. During the last legislative session, House Bill 1922 was passed and became effective on January 1st, 2024. The council held a public hearing on this item at the last meeting and approved the first reading. House Bill 1922 requires the city to reauthorize all of its various building fees that they have. So in preparation of doing this, city staff reviewed numerous cities, the city of Andrews, Muleshoe, Pampa, Slayton, Brownfield, Plainview, and even Lubbock, and made adjustments to our fees. And we're asking for approval of ordinance number 1081 for this evening on its second reading. And I can read that ordinance if you would like, Mayor.
Council, like that ordinance read again?
It's been read at the prior meeting.
Okay.
If there are any questions.
Any questions on that ordinance? Okay. With that, do we have a motion?
I move to approve ordinance 1081 regarding building inspection fees on a second reading.
Second.
Do we have a second? By Mr. Stewart. All in favor? With that, motion carries. Item number 9, consider and take necessary action on ordinance number 1083, setting utility rates, utility billing, sewer improvement fee, and garbage rates on a first reading.
Mayor and members of council, this item that is before you has been discussed as we went through our budget work sessions. One of the first items is Republic, per their contract, requested an increase within sanitation rates. So those have been reflected in this. And then we also went in and looked at our other rates. In water service, we created a new tier in water service for anything over 20,000 gallons, trying to encourage people to conserve water. We also cleaned up some areas within our rate structure that weren't very clear. We also found that our irrigation meters, there really wasn't rates for that stuff. It was just kind of there. So we went in and cleaned that up as well. So more than happy to read this ordinance to y'all this evening. I need to step back real quick because I just remembered that what you have in the packet did not have your garbage rates in. No, I didn't. I approved the wrong thing. So Mayor, ordinance number 1083, an ordinance amending the city of Levelland, Texas Code of Ordinances, Appendix A fee schedule, Article 5.0, utility related fees, Section 5.300 entitled Water Service, Section 5.400 entitled Wastewater Service, and 5.200 entitled Garbage Rates, providing an effective date and providing a repealer, providing a savings clause, and providing for publication. Whereas the City Council for the City of Levelland, Texas, pursuant to the Constitution and the laws of the state of Texas, including but not limited to Article 11, Section 5 of the Texas Constitution, as a home rule city, and Chapter 552 of the Texas Local Government Code authorizes the city to oversee and or operate certain utilities and set forth ordinances and regulations and receive compensation necessary to operate such utilities for the benefit of the citizens of the city of Levelland. And whereas the city council is charged with the responsibility of establishing water and wastewater rates in order to ensure that the services provided are maintained at an acceptable level and to service any water, wastewater related debt that may be outstanding. And whereas the city council has previously established rates for water and wastewater services provided within the municipal limits of the city and outside the municipal limits of the city. And whereas due to the increase in expenses associated with maintaining and operating these utilities in order to keep the utilities in good working conditions, it has become necessary to increase the rates charged for such services. And whereas the city council of the city of Levelland finds the following utility rate increases are reasonable and necessary for the continued proper operation and maintenance of the city's utility systems and in the best interest of public health, safety, and welfare. Now therefore be it ordained by the city of Levelland, Texas, that Section 1, the findings and recitals set forth above are hereby found to be true and correct and hereby adopted and approved by the city council and incorporated into this ordinance as those set forth fully herein. Section 2, the Code of Ordinances 1997, City of Levelland, Appendix A, Fee Schedule, Article 5.0 is hereby amended by amending Section 5.300 as follows. 5.300 Water Service. Section A, water rates within the city. The following rates shall be in effect for water services and water sold by the city to customers within the city limits. Deposits for opening a water meter account, $75. Service charge for new accounts, $15. Service availability fee per month, $15.60. Rate per 1,000 gallons of water. A, 0 to 3,000 gallons of water is $3.73 per 1,000 gallons. B, 3,001 to 20,000 gallons of water, $3.86 per 1,000 gallons. Letter C, 20,001 gallons of water and up, $4 per 1,000 gallons. Water system improvement fee is $1. Water rates outside the city. The following rates shall be effective for water sold by the city and accounts established to customers by the city to those customers outside the city limits. Deposit for opening a water meter account is $110. B, service charge for new account is $15. C, service availability per month is $22.40. D, rate per 1,000 gallons of water. Subletter I, 0 to 3,000 gallons of water is $5.60 per 1,000. 3,001 to 20,000 gallons of water is $5.79 per 1,000 gallon of water. And 20,000 gallons of water and up is $6 per 1,000 gallons. Water system improvement fee is $1. 2, the determination whether to provide water to customers outside the city limits or to impose limitations or conditions thereon is at the sole discretion at the city. Subsection C, D, and E, there's no text change. Section F, water rates for irrigation / sprinkler on separate meter. Deposit for opening a water meter account, $75 within city limits, $110 outside of city limits. 2, reconnect fee, $30 during office hours, $40 for after hours. 3, rate per 1,000 gallons of water, 0 to 3,000 gallons of water is $3.73 per 1,000. B, 3,001 to 20,000 gallons of water is $3.86 per 1,000. And C, 20,001 gallons of water and up is $4 per 1,000 gallons. Subsection G and H are no text change. F, water rates for sprinkler, separate meter, no change there. Section 3, the Code of Ordinances 1997, City of Levelland, Appendix A, Fee Schedule, Article 5.000 is hereby amended by amending subsection 5.400 as follows. Wastewater service. The following rates shall be in effect for wastewater collected, treated, and disposed of city to customers within the city limits. Section 1, residential customers. Wastewater service availability fee for residential customers, $17.29 per month. B, wastewater service availability for apartments per unit, $17.29 per month. C, usage charge is 15 cents per 1,000 gallons of metered water. D, wastewater system improvement fee per unit is 2162. If there is more than one residential unit on the same meter and there is a vacancy in one or more of such units, then the city shall give credit for any such vacancies on the wastewater bill to such meter and to charge off that amount from such wastewater bill. Section 2, commercial customers, wastewater service availability fee for commercial customers, $11.77 per month. B, usage charge for commercial wastewater is $1.24 per 1,000 gallons of commercial wastewater for the first 59% of all meter water usage. C, wastewater system improvement fee per unit is $21.62. Section B, wastewater rates outside of the city. The following rates shall be in effect for wastewater collected, treated, and disposed of by the city to customers outside of the city limits. Section 1, residential customers, wastewater service availability fee for residential customers, $25.93 per month. Wastewater service availability fee for apartments per unit is $25.93 per month. C, usage charge is 20 cents per 1,000 gallons of metered water. D, wastewater system improvement fee is $21.62. And again, if there is more than one residential unit on the same meter and there is a vacancy in one or more such units, then the city shall give credit for any such vacancies on the wastewater bill to such meter and charge off that amount from such wastewater bill. Section 2, commercial customers. A, wastewater rate for commercial customers, $17.65 per month minimum. B, wastewater rate for commercial customers, $1.86 per 1,000 gallons of commercial wastewater for the first 59% of meter water usage. And C, wastewater system improvement fee per unit is $21.62. Section 4, the Code of Ordinances, 1997, City of Levelland, Texas, Appendix A, Fee Schedule, Article 5 is hereby amended by amending 5.2 as follows: garbage rates, residential garbage rates within the city, type of business or dwelling unit rate per month. One family resident, $29.50, apartments and apartment houses up to 16 units, $29.50 for the first unit and $21.65 for each additional unit. 3, manufactured home parks or subdivisions located on 1 meter is $29.50 per each unit. 4, manufactured homes located behind residences and on the same meters is $29.50. Manufactured homes located on separate meter, whether on one lot or in manufactured park or subdivision, is $29.50. 6, churches is $29.50. Section B, no text change. C, mercantile, professional, and business garbage rates within the city limits. 1, the monthly charge for service will be $65 per container per number of pickups per week. 2, for very large commercial institutions and industrial accounts, being those with numerous containers, separate pickup locations, and peculiar or non-typical waste or other factors as determined by the city, the rates will be determined by the city. D, special service charge. Each extra pickup shall be $43.50 per container. E and F are no text change. Section 5, effective date. This ordinance shall take effect for all utility bills issued for water service on or after. We're going to be looking at approving this next week. I would recommend, I know October 1's a new year, and I know republics are going in effect October 1, but I would recommend November 1st just to give more notice to the public that their rates are changing. Section 6, repealed all other terms and provisions of the Code of Ordinances, 1997, City of Levelland, Texas, not in conflict herewith and not hereby amended, shall remain in full force and effect. Section 7, severability of any provision, section, subsection, sentence, clause, or the application of the same to any person or set of circumstances for any reason is held to be unconstitutional, void, or invalid, or for any reason unenforceable, the validity of the remaining portions of this ordinance and or the application thereby shall remain in effect, it being intent of the City Council, City of Levelland, Texas, in adopting this ordinance, that no portion thereof or provision contained herein shall become inoperative or fail by any reasons of unconstitutionality of any other portion or provision. Section 8, publication. The City Secretary of the City of Levelland is hereby authorized and directed to cause publications of the descriptive caption of this ordinance as an alternate method provided by law, and this passed and considered approval on the first reading on the 9th day of September 2024.
We have a motion on ordinance number 1083.
I move the approval of ordinance 1083 setting utility rates, utility billing, sewer improvement fee, and garbage rates on first reading.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
No.
No opposed, motion carried. Next item will be number 10, consider and take necessary action on ordinance number 1084, approving a negotiated settlement between the Executive Committee of Cities served by Atmos West Texas Cities and Atmos Energy Corp. West Texas Division regarding the company's 2024 rate review mechanism filing, declaring existing rates to be unreasonable, adopting tariffs that reflect rate adjustments consistent with the negotiated settlement, finding the rates to set by the attached settlement tariffs to be just and reasonable and in the public interest, approving and attached establishing a benchmark for pensions and retiree medical benefits, approving an attachment regarding amortization of regulatory liability, regarding the company to reimburse cities reasonable rate marking expenses, determining that this ordinance was passed in accordance with the requirements of the Texas Open Meetings Act, adopting a savings clause, declaring an effective date, and requiring delivery of this ordinance to the company and the city's legal counsel. Yeah.
Mayor, members of the city council, members of the public, Levelland, along with 70 other West Texas cities that are served by Atmos Energy Corporation, the West Texas Division. We are members of the Atmos West Texas group. We have a firm that represents us in all rate matters before Atmos, and they are recommending this ordinance before y'all this evening after long negotiations and discussions. The gas industry is a very complex business to try to understand the rates and where they're at, so we rely on the experts and the other cities involved in this to help us get the best rates we possibly can for our customers. So we would recommend approval of this ordinance.
We need to read the ordinance.
Yes, ma'am. I'm trying to get to it. Ordinance number 1084, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Levelland, Texas, approving a negotiated settlement between the Executive Committee of the city served by the Atmos West Texas and Atmos Energy Corp. West Texas Division regarding the company's 2024 rate review mechanism filing, declaring existing rates to be unreasonable, adopting tariffs that reflect rate adjustments consistent with the negotiated settlement, finding the rates to be set by the attached settlement tariffs to be just and reasonable and in the public interest, approving an attachment establishing a benchmark for pensions and retiree medical benefits, approving an attachment regarding amortization of regulatory liability, requiring the company to reimburse cities reasonable rate making expenses, determining that this ordinance was passed in accordance with the requirement of the Texas Open Meetings Act, adopting a savings clause, declaring an effective date, and requiring the delivery of this ordinance to the company and the city's legal counsel. Whereas the city of Levelland is a gas utility customer of Atmos Energy Corporation, the West Texas Division, and a regulatory authority with an interest in the rates and charges of Atmos West Texas. And whereas the city is a member of the city served by Atmos West Texas, a coalition of similarly situated cities served by Atmos West Texas that have joined together to facilitate the review of and response to natural gas issue affecting rates charged in the Atmos West Texas service areas. And whereas cities and companies work collaboratively to develop a new rate review mechanism tariff that allows for an expedited rate review process by cities as a substitute to the gas reliability infrastructure program process instituted by the legislature, and that will establish rates for cities based on the system-wide cost of serving the Atmos West Texas service area. And whereas the RRM tariff was adopted by the city in rate ordinance in 2018, and whereas on or about April 1st, 2024, Atmos West Texas filed its 2024 RRM rate request for cities based on a test year ending December 31, 2023. And whereas cities coordinated its review of the Atmos West Texas 2024 RRM filing through its executive committee and assisted cities, attorneys, and consultants to resolve issues identified in the company's RRM filing. And whereas the executive committee, as well as the city's councils and consultants, recommend that cities approve an increase in base rates for Atmos West Texas of $4.3 million with an effective date of October 1, 2024. And whereas the attached tariffs, attachment 1, implementing new rates are consistent with the recommendation of the city's executive committee are agreed to by the company and are just, reasonable, and in the public interest. And whereas the settlement agreement sets a new benchmark for pensions and retiree medical benefits, attachment 2. And whereas the RRM tariff contemplates reimbursement of city's reasonable expenses associated with RRM applications. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Levelland, Texas, Section 1, that the findings set forth in this ordinance are hereby in all things approved. 2, that without prejudice to future litigation of any issue identified by the cities, the City Council finds that the settled amount of an increase in revenues of $4.3 million for cities represents a comprehensive settlement of gas utility rate issues affecting the rates, operations, and services offered by Atmos West Texas within the municipal limits arising for Atmos West Texas 2024 RRM filing is in the public interest and is consistent with the city's authority under section 103.001 of the Texas Utility Code. Section 3, that the existing rates for natural gas service provided by Atmos West Texas are unreasonable. The new tariffs attached hereto and incorporated herein as attachment 1 are just and reasonable and are designed to allow Atmos West Texas to recover annually an additional $4.3 million in revenue from customers and cities over the amount allowed under currently approved rates. Such tariffs are hereby adopted. Section 4, that the rate making treatment for pensions and retiree medical benefits in Atmos West Texas next RRM filings shall be as set forth on attachment 2, attached hereto and incorporated herein. Section 5, that Atmos West Texas shall reimburse the reasonable rate-making expenses of the cities in processing the company's 2024 RRM filing. Section 6, that to the extent any resolution or ordinance previously adopted by the council is inconsistent with this ordinance, it is hereby repealed. Section 7, that the meeting at which this ordinance was approved was in all things conducted in strict compliance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. Section 8, that if any one or more sections or clauses of this ordinance is adjudged to be unconstitutional or invalid, such judgment shall not affect, impair, or invalidate the remaining provisions of this ordinance, and the remaining provisions of the ordinance shall be interpreted as if the offending section or clause never existed. Section 9, that consistent with the city ordinance that established the RRM process, this ordinance shall become effective from and after its passage with rates authorized by attached tariffs to be effective for bills rendered on or after October 1, 2024. Section 10, that a copy of this ordinance shall be sent to Atmos West Texas, care of Philip Littlejohn, Vice President of Rates and Regulatory Affairs, West Texas Division, 6606 66th Street, Lubbock, Texas, 79424, and Thomas Mercado, General Counsel to cities at Lloyd Gosling, Rochelle, and Townsend, PC, 816 Congress Avenue, Suite 1900, Austin, Texas, 78701, passed and approved on the first reading, 9th day of September 2024.
We have a motion on ordinance number 1084. We have a second? We have a motion and a second. All in favor? No opposed, motion carries. Item number 11 is to consider and take necessary action on resolution number 2024-26 denying Southwestern Public Service Company's proposed surcharge and rates, authorizing the city's continued participation with other cities in the Alliance of Excel Municipalities, AXM, to direct the activities of lawyers and consultants, authorizing the hiring of attorneys and consultants, authorizing the intervention and participation in related rate proceedings, and requiring reimbursement of reasonable legal and consultant expenses.
Mayor, council members, members of the public, on July 16, 2024, Southwestern Public Service filed an application with the city seeking authority to implement a surcharge in the amount of $41,366,710, including interest, to recover the additional amount of revenue that SPS would have received during the period July 13th, 2023 through January 31st, 2024. If the rates approved at docket number 54634 had been in effect during that time. Under state law, SPS has a right to recover revenue for what is called the relate back period. The relate back period is a period of time from the 155th day after the utility rate files a rate case to the date of the PUCT's final order in that rate case. Docket number 54634 is a case number the Public Utility Commission of Texas assigned to SPS's most recent general rate case, in which the PUCT found its final order on April 11th, 2024. In docket number 54634, SPS requested an increase of about $148.5 million. Ultimately, the parties, including the Alliance of XL Municipalities, which we are a member of, reached a settlement for an increase in the base rates of $65 million. SPS is seeking to true up a net credit of $4,926,779 associated with docket number 53766, thus bringing the surcharge it seeks in its pending application to a net amount of $36,439,931. SPS proposes implement the net surcharge over a one-year period from October 1st, 2024 through September 30th, 2025, and to true up the amounts actually surcharged and refunded against the amounts authorized by the commission to be surcharged and refunded. The special counsel of the Alliance of XL Cities recommends that the city, as part of this, deny SPS's application for a proposed surcharge. A denial is a more expeditious process to address SPS's application. The denial means that the city will appeal the city's decision to the PUCT, and they will ultimately issue an order in the amount of the final surcharge. So the resolution you have before you is recommending denial of that request.
Any questions?
Move to approve resolution number 2024-26 denying Southwest Public Service Company's proposed surcharge and rates, authorizing the city's continued partnership with other cities in the Alliance of XL Municipalities to direct the activities of lawyers and consultants, authorizing the hiring of attorneys and consultants, authorizing the intervention and participation in reletting rate proceedings, and requiring reimbursement of reasonable legal income.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposed? That motion carries. Next item is number 12, update on the weather incident on May 29th, 2024.
Mayor, council members, members of the public, we are slowly but surely getting our debris fields cleaned up. Republic has been working with us. Unfortunately, their truck that hauls the roll-offs keeps breaking down, so it's slowing down the process, but we are still moving forward. We will be loading up those tires and taking those to Denver City as well, and we're just continuing to haul everything out. And then our whole goal is to have these properties restored by the end of this month. We're trying to find a big magnet to be able to go over the fields to pick up any loose metal or small metal that we may not be able to see, but Kevin and his team have been phenomenal in getting that stuff cleaned up. Cole is working on our after action report that we have to file with FEMA. And so I've got a draft of it that I'm reviewing, and we're moving forward with all of our public disaster assistance filings, get that information in. And then we're also still working on the RFP to go out for hail damage for companies to come in and to be able to look at our vehicles. The challenge with that is that once we issue the RFP, we've got to find a day and time that we can bring all the vehicles to one spot. So everybody that wants to bid can come see them all in one spot. So we're trying to coordinate that as well. But a lot of lessons learned from this, and we will be coming to council with the after action and some of the things that we've learned, things we know we need to be doing, whether it's adding new generators, replacing generators, putting one here at City Hall, just different things. We're still trying to get the damage assessment on the tower that was out at City Park. So some things are slow, but we're moving forward on it. I just appreciate everything Cole has done. Appreciate everything Kevin and his team have done. They have done a really, really good job on that.
Yourself have done quite a bit. We do appreciate that.
That debris field is getting better. I drove by it on my way here. It's getting better. Any questions? That, item 13, city managers report, staff updates, project updates, citizen recognitions, items of community interest.
Mayor, council members, member of the public, I almost hate to say anything about the College Avenue project. It's underway, but every time I get told they're going to do one thing, they do something completely opposite. So I just ask for people's patience, people's understanding. We are trying to make sure that they work with the businesses and do a better job of communicating with them and keeping driveways open and those kind of things. They didn't do that very well the first few days. So we're trying to stay on top of that. Where we're at, I don't think they've gotten back with Joe and I regarding that section that had the valves and the manholes high. What I understand they anticipate doing is skipping that whole section completely until next April, and then being able to tackle all that one time. And that probably would be the best plan, instead of having valves or manholes sticking up even a quarter of an inch would be bad. So we're still working through that. Our seal coat project is completed. That was another one of those projects that kept moving rapidly, but Kevin again and his team did a phenomenal job. We only had one minor incident where a mailbox got hit, and Kevin and the contractor are working to get that repaired and restored. Our state representative will be here Wednesday at 11:30 to have a town hall meeting. Main Street Board meeting is Thursday. Reminder, the Chamber Volunteers Appreciation Luncheon is Friday, October 4th. We do have a table, so if you'd like to go, let Andrea know so that we can make sure we have everybody there. Levelland Fire Department on October 5th at City Park will be hosting a fire safety day. So that's going to be a real fun day that day with them. Be going from 11 to 2, and that'll be the beginning of Fire Safety Awareness Week. And they're going to try to do some different things at the station for kids, and have some goodie bags or whatever for our young kids. And also on the 5th is the Falling for Wallace. As I said earlier, we've got some busy activities and things going on. Community-wide cleanup is October 12th. Keep Levelland beautiful. And one thing that you make sure that we'll get to you, the EDC Industrial Luncheon and the city's Employee Appreciation Dinner moved from the 14th to the 21st. The 14th is Ladies' Night Out. We just overlooked that on our calendar, so we shifted everything a week, but we'll make sure you have that on there. Joe, is there anything else? Nope.
On the seal coating, I noticed that they got like 16th and 15th streets as well. Those, I guess they had extra material and knocked those out, or they jumped across Clubview and grabbed those streets, which I thought was awesome.
Better than running out. Definitely better.
I
than
only saw one car that they had to go around.
Thankful for that. Okay, with that, there's nothing else on the agenda. With that, we're adjourned.